with that. Any questions? Alex?
Yeah, last year's announcement, it was $14.6 billion of intended fraud loss. This year, you said it's $6.5 billion. I'm wondering, can you explain the discrepancy there? Is this as a result of fewer prosecutions, less money, or is, as Dr. Oz mentioned, the idea that you guys are catching this before the money goes out the door? Is that having an impact?
Yeah, look, I think it's a combination of everything you just said. It's a combination. There were a couple cases last year that made that number that high, and so we said this year. We have been doing an extraordinary amount of work, and when I say we, I'm not saying the Department of Justice, I'm saying everybody on this stage and the folks in the back. And part of that work includes turning off the spigot, that's right. And so it includes more detection early on that stops the claims from even going anywhere near a payment being issued, and that's part of the reason. And so, yeah, we had a great year last year too when it comes to combating fraud. If you are an American taxpayer, you should be extraordinarily happy with what you see on the stage right now. Not only because of what we're talking about today, but because of what we were talking about a year ago when we had a similar day. And I expect that you're going to hear more from us over the next several months, because this, for the first time, at least in modern history, everybody is working together. When we talked about state AGs, we're talking about Republicans, Democrats, we're talking about New York, we're talking about Florida. This is a chronic problem that was actually hurting so many people, not only financially, but thievery, but also hurting, like you heard today, the stories. So look, I think we had a great year last year, right? A phenomenal year this year, and I expect there'll be more happening over the next year, the rest of the year.
And then just an off-topic, if I could.
No off-topics. Next question. And we got a lot of people here for this reason. So we got a lot of people here for this reason. And they're giving up their time. So next question. Yes.
He gets to ask his question on the topic that he chooses. We're not here as spectators. So.
Are states, with both Democratic and Republican leaders, working with federal authorities to identify these cases or investigate and provide facts?
I think, Colin, you want to handle that?
Yes, thank you for the question. And just to clarify, last year, which was a great result by our department, there were 324 defendants that were charged in last year's takedown. Today, 455 in the last 14 days have been charged with fraud offenses. And to your question about the state participation, we have, last year, I believe there were 13 states that participated with us in our takedown. And this year, we are in the high 40s of those who have come to the table to add their resources to come work with us, because this truly is a national problem that demands a national response. And that's really driven by the White House Fraud Task Force, which is bringing everybody together to say, hey, if we don't solve it, no one will. And folks are coming to the table to ensure that we do this work against the fraudsters better than we've ever done it before.
In the case involving the basketball player who died, and I know, Dr. Oz, you were highlighting that, was that resolved and solved through sort of old-fashioned law enforcement work, or were there techniques and tools that the Justice Department or other agencies employed that resulted in that $89 million fraud being detected?
There was boots on the ground. Individuals went, they got the records, they could tell how many seconds transpired between when the actual EKG was sent to the doctor in question and when the readout was delivered, so saying that it was normal. And again, I'll speak as a heart physician. There's no way you could miss this diagnosis. This child's heart on autopsy was massive. And if it's 2.5 times bigger than your fist, it looks like that. And the child had echocardiogram and EKG, also had Dopplers of his carotids and groins. And this doctor was practicing in multiple states, which is one of the things doctors do to hide their path. They can sneak around. And the mom is in Florida. And it's really tragic. And I just want to highlight, this is a dead child is a dead child, red state, blue state, it doesn't matter. And that's why I think so many states are participating, because Medicaid is a program that is run by the states, and having them all on board, I think, is a reinforcing element to the White House Anti-Fraud Task Force.
Are you getting cooperation from the healthcare corporations in terms of detecting this fraud? What's your relationship with the healthcare corporations? Are these one-offs that are just individuals that are kind of, you know, sneaking through the getting around the controls, or are the companies helping to detect this fraud?
That's a good question. Who's the best to answer that? You want Colin?
Yes, we have great working relationships with healthcare corporations who are required to be alert to instances of fraud across their programs. And we collaborate with them to make sure that we can illuminate fraudsters across the healthcare portfolio. And we encourage every healthcare corporation to come work with us to root out those who are seeking to defraud the American people by exploiting our healthcare programs.
And Mr. Attorney General, will you take one off-topic question?
No.
You got to take an off-topic
Any other
question,
questions?
sir.
All right, thanks everybody for coming. We appreciate it. Thank you very much.